Hello, welcome back to the Clarity series, where we are talking about ways for you to get clear and stay clear for your mind and your body and how you feel. And also, that little thing of realizing and embodying and living as your true self. So, in our first video, I went into how to sense and feel and connect to your presence and said that's the number one most critical, most impactful thing that you can do, period, hands down. If you could just do that throughout your day, every single day, it will and does eliminate probably 90% of the work that most people do going through the process of dissolving the false self, the personality, ego self that's been constructed and invented, and coming into the embodiment and experience of their true self. So it's pretty darn important, right? So speaking of coming into feeling your presence and your essence, yesterday when I did my first video, I took you through just a little exercise to feel into your body, into your presence, and the spaciousness around you that, we can't really define this. It's something you just really need to explore for yourself. And one thing, I used to love to do is just feeling my presence. What do I feel like? Just feeling into it. Just feel into it, right? What do I feel like? And going beyond the physical. And it sounds simple, but there's a lot to explore there. So anyway, what I'm sharing with you today is a super quick tip. And just an exercise, I guess you could call it, something I've done that's helped me to stay in that place of awareness of what is me and what is not me. And the craziest thing about all of this is, as you come into this awareness, whether you start through meditation or whatever, so that you start to observe the thoughts and the stories and the emotions and the feelings and all this stuff that is not you, you realize that like 95+% of all your thoughts have nothing to do with you, okay? So you've got this big habit from the time before you started this exploration, we'll say, where you just were automatically in with your thoughts. You were just on that thought train, thought after thought after thought after thought, and not a lot of questioning what thoughts are you and what's not you. And when you go into this, it's like, holy cow, almost none of this is me. It's like, actually none of it, technically none of it is you, but we go step by step. So let's all just take a breath and come back to what we explored in our first video. Deep breath, and as you exhale, just feel the openness within your being, within your body, the space around you. Just feel that openness. Just take one breath and feel it, and that shifts everything. Now, much like this spaciousness that we're feeling here, when you start meditating, you catch yourself off in a story, and you just come back over and over and over again. And pretty soon you catch yourself before the story drags you away and go, oh no, I caught it, right? And you just let it go. And then eventually more space comes in between your presence and the thoughts. You start expanding, and the thoughts aren't so constricted, like, again, that only track for you to be on. And you see these thoughts coming from like a mile away. I mean, you can laugh because you can feel it coming in. You can sometimes hear it, whatever. And you find yourself, I'll speak for myself, watching these things coming in, kind of chuckling like, well, that's not me, just smiling at them because you're so disidentified with the mind and the thoughts and the stories that they have no power anymore. And that's when they poof, dissolve away, never to be seen again. And so a practice for you to stay in this spaciousness. Where I was speaking of the meditation, that was more of, a seated meditation. Now, what we're talking about here is taking this into your everyday life. And it's fine for you to take time, sit back, meditate, do what you need to do, get into that space. But it's all about bringing this integrating this into your everyday life. So, one little trick, one tip, something for you to try out is giving a conscious awareness of spaciousness to the thoughts. So, let's say you're out and about and a story starts running and you catch it and you go, oh, okay, I was in that story instead of being the awareness of it. Now, see if you can just take a breath and allow that space, call it your essence, your presence, to expand and envelop that story, that thought, and becoming the spaciousness around every story, every thought. And this works really well for emotions. So let's just say you've got some kind of storyline that is about a negative one about you, and there's an emotion that you feel like, oh, I feel bad about this or whatever. You take a breath and expand beyond that emotion and feel yourself as the spaciousness between you and the emotion, and then around the emotion and through the emotion. And suddenly it loses its grasp, because even when you're not fully identified with these things, you don't fully believe them, kind of feels like that brick weighing down on you. And as you consciously expand your awareness through it, it loosens up. And then, this isn't something you do for life. This is an exercise, a practice, something to explore and play with, because there's times where these things just kind of float by and you don't even give them any energy at all, right? But this is a wonderful thing to play with. So now, are you going to be out in your day and totally remember to do this? Yeah, probably not, right? So what I would say is I have a little trick that I've used for myself. It's very fancy and sophisticated. It involves a Sharpie, which I'm not sure if you're technically supposed to draw on yourself with these, but I do. And so you can take a little Sharpie, write yourself a little love note here, and I'll use this as the example. Space. I don't know if you can read that. It's probably backwards, but sometimes when my mind has gotten really wacky or there's a certain thing playing out, I'll write myself a little thing here, because all throughout oh yeah, that's right. I was sucked back into that story again. I gotta remember, we have these aha moments, but what happens is there's such a deep ingrained habit in identifying with the thoughts or just getting sucked into them. It's just like deep old grooves, in your neural pathways. Just slide right back into that old groove. And so changing those patterns, it just takes, it's building that muscle that, no, we're going this way now, you just keep coming back. So anything you can do to give yourself little reminders, little sticky notes, little whatever. And there's no, it's nothing to quote, I don't know, feel bad about, or it's like, this is the beauty of our mind, is it's very good at doing what we tell it to. We taught it to follow these thoughts. Now we're teaching it a new way. So give yourself a little, maybe, I like this thing on my hand because I can't miss this throughout the day. Sticky notes get lost, and if there's something I really want to stay focused on, then I got it right here. So anyway, be the space. See if you can just be the space, whatever arises. Let your presence expand to it, through it, beyond it, around it. Maybe feel into it. So instead of doing the thing that sometimes people do, try to avoid, run away, hide, don't fight with it. It's sort of like radiating that love right through it, because your true, pure, clear radiance is pure light, not as in light or dark, as in the light of consciousness. And it's pure love. So we're going to expand right through it and not fight with it and let it be. So be the space. All right. Good luck with that. Thank you for joining me. Namaste.